What's up, guys? Got my boy John Cruz here. We're gonna talk.
Up?
We're gonna talk fishing line today. I don't know about you, but the last time I was in like a Bass Pro Shop or a big time tackle store, and you walk to the line section, hundreds,
It's a ton of options.
hundreds, and I was looking through them, and some of the lines, I mean, really don't even tell you what's on the pack. It's like, okay, is that fluorocarbon? Is that
Mono.
is it mono?
braid,
Is it a
copolymer.
hybrid? You don't even know.
Yeah.
So it's very hard, especially if you guys are just starting out and you really don't understand the differences in lines. It's hard to get started. So we're going to kind of break it down for you a little bit and kind of show you the basics of what you need to know about line before you buy it, because all monofilament is not created equally.
No.
All fluorocarbon is not created equally. Same thing when it comes to braid. So, if you guys follow us, we're Sunline guys. There's a reason why most of the pros run Sunline, is because we trust it.
And most pros fish fluorocarbon, period.
Yep.
And there's a reason for it. Fluorocarbon by nature is denser than monofilament, so you're going to have better feel. But when fluorocarbon first came out, it was very crude, just like everything else. When it first comes out, it's very crude, and it gets refined. And man, fluorocarbon over the last 10 years has gotten refined to where it is silky smooth. And I think, I think Sniper is smoother
Yes.
than any monofilament I've ever thrown. It's smoother, casts better, it's more supple. I mean, it's crazy that the technology has gotten there. So now you got the sensitivity. That's what the density does. It gives you more sensitivity. The sensitivity has gotten you to get to fluorocarbon, and then now technology has gotten to the point where you can't tell the difference, especially on a bait caster.
That's right.
Yep.
And there's a lot of old school guys out there, especially like my dad. He has never thrown fluorocarbon in his life. He is a monofilament through and through. He never wants to change, but there are advantages and disadvantages for every line type. And a lot of guys are like, well, I like to crank with monofilament because of the stretch in it. Well, what if I told you that Sunline had a line that has some of the same characteristics of monofilament, but the same sensitivity, hook point penetration, strength that monofilament or that fluorocarbon has as well. So that's kind of our goal right now, is we want to show you guys some of the basic ones that the basic line types that Sunline has to kind of best fit your needs. We're going to start with your basics. Your FC snipers, guys. This is Sunline's #1 seller, one of the top selling lines in the industry.
Yeah.
And there's a reason for that.
Yeah, definitely. It's as I mentioned earlier, it's very supple. It's a good all-around line. You can use it for about anything. It's a catch-all fluorocarbon. It's economically priced. As far as all fluorocarbons go, it's probably in the middle. So it's not at the high end, but it definitely has very high-end characteristics. But because of the characteristics of it, I use Sniper for a couple of things. I use it for deep cranking. I use it for any reaction baits, like spinner baits, spinner baits, chatter baits.
That's right.
Stuff like that. And I use it for all of my leaders on a spinning rod because of that suppleness. It gives my baits a little bit extra action, and so that's kind of what I've grown to use, and it is amazing. I don't use it for flipping, pitching, worming. It's not what it's set up for. It doesn't have that shock resistance. It's a lower stretch fluorocarbon out of all the fluorocarbons, and that's why I don't use it for that. But I know people that do, and they love it, but I don't use it for that.
That's right. And then he mentioned the higher end. It's kind of in the middle of the higher end. So let's go straight to the high end stuff. When we're talking about high end, we're talking about the best fluorocarbon on the market.
Yeah.
Sunline Shooter, guys, is the tank. I mean, when you are heavy flipping into super thick cover. You do not want to bring a tricycle to a NASCAR race.
That's right. You throw it into brush piles, and you're going to seesaw them in those brush piles, get them out. That's what you want.
This is what you want, guys. Extremely strong, super abrasive resistance, easily castable. Now, I would not necessarily use a shooter on, let's say, a crankbait.
I use it for some, but you don't need to.
That's
so
right.
you can go, a lot less price for a product that probably is a little bit better designed for it. But
right.
you can use Shooter for anything. Don't get me wrong. But the Shooter, you don't need it. But like Derek's saying, you don't need it.
Yeah, you want to get them hogs out of some trash. Shooter's a way to go. So we mentioned to you earlier about, a lot of people still go with monofilament when it comes to cranking because they want the stretch. They want the stretch to get that crankbait deeper and also to have that rubber band effect to keep them fish
Buttoned up.
hooked up. Sunline FC Crank, guys. It has the stretch that monofilament does, but it still has the strength to keep them hooked up. And guys, if you ever casted this before, if you've ever put this on your reel and casted a crankbait, you can immediately tell it is super, super slick, excellent castability, and just, guys, it's all around. That is what you need for a crankbait.
I don't even know if it says it on there, but I can tell you it's got one of the reasons it's so slick and it casts so well is it's got the X Plasma coating.
That's right.
On the line, and just to explain to you real quick what the plasma coating is, it actually changes the molecular structure of the outside surface of the line. It is not a coating. It is not like silicone. It's nothing you can feel, but it changes that molecular structure of the outside of the line, and it does a couple things. Fluorocarbon by nature also does not absorb water.
That's right.
And it reflects UV light, so leaving your rods out there on the deck all day does not hurt fluorocarbon at all, where it kills monofilament. But that plasma coating repels water even a higher degree. It's like having the hood of your car without wax on it. It doesn't absorb water, but then if you put a really thick, good, clean coat of wax on it, that water just slides right off of it. That's what the plasma coating does. It also makes the line unbelievably abrasion resistant. It is super slick. You can throw a crankbait on like riprap and fish it for an hour and a half, and then you feel your line and there's no abrasions. It blows my mind every time.
It's crazy.
Yeah, you can take your line, put it in the water, and then like lift it up right out of the water. And as you lift it up out of the water, there's going to be no droplets, no nothing that sticks to the line.
That's right.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
And one situation that I can think of, guys, if you are throwing like a small square bill, like a Little John 50 or something like that, guys, and there's a lot of wind. When you go to something like an FC Crank and you feel the castability of it, you're going to be able to get further cast without backlashing.
Yep.
That is what this is designed. It's what it's made for, guys. If you're a monofilament guy, you want to go to something that's going to bring your game to the next level on crank, and that FC Crank is definitely.
And it's an affordable line too. It's not at the top end like Shooter.
That's right.
It's more in the range of Sniper. I think it may be even a touch less than Sniper. So it's very economical as far as that goes. And that plasma coating will make the line last longer. You can cast it a whole bunch. It reduces abrasions because of that plasma coating.
That's right.
Super slick.
So there's one disadvantage to fluorocarbon, is that when you throw it out there, if you ever try to throw a topwater lure on fluorocarbon, what happens? Sinks. We don't want that.
That's the density that we were talking about earlier.
That's right. So what is a situation when you're throwing a Zara spook or a Pop-R or something like that? That's why the good Lord made braided line, and Sunline has its X Plasma, guys, and that's when it absolutely shines. You do not want to be caught throwing a frog, throwing a buzzbait, a topwater lure without braided line in your reel, guys. That is what it's made for. No stretch. This is when you want to bring those fish to the woodshed when they eat it. This is what you got to have.
Frog, plopper,
whatever.
anything like that.
Exactly. So some of you guys probably throw some of the more popular braided lines out there, but if you notice, it's extremely loud, especially when you're punching, when you're making long casts, and you feel like it's making a lot of noise. This X Plasma braid by Sunline takes all of that out.
Yeah, definitely. The X Plasma, as it says, it has the plasma coating on the braid. Now, I didn't think they could do that, but apparently they can.
They absolutely
And when
did.
they put that plasma coating on the braid, what it does is it makes the water repel off of the braid. That's why it is so good for top waters. and that's why it is smooth, silky smooth, and it has the like durability and the strength of a 4-carrier braid, but it has the castability and maneuverability of an 8-carrier braid.
That's right.
So if you guys are you really know your braids, 8-carrier braids are very supple, but man, they break more than they should.
They're brittle. Yeah.
They're very brittle. 4-carrier braids are rough, but they're very, very strong. So the X Plasma is really the best of both worlds. It acts like an 8-carrier braid, but it's got the strength of a 4-carrier braid, and it's got the plasma coating. That's what I use on bait casters and spinner reels for braid, period. Done.
That's right. And so, guys, I mean, we've talked about them all except for monofilament. I'm going to tell you this, guy. I'm going to tell you this, guy. From my personal experience, there's only one thing that I throw monofilament on, is if I'm throwing a small popper like a Yellow Magic. Where I don't want the sink, I don't want, I want a very, very finesse presentation for super shallow fish that are just immediate post-spawn. That's about the only situation where I can sit here and say that a monofilament would be superior to another brand, is if I'm trying to extremely shallow, immediate post-spawn, fry garters, that's the only situation. But guys, the technology in this industry is a rat race to see who can build the better mousetrap faster. Guys, fluorocarbon has changed the game for probably 15 years now.
If you're not throwing fluoro, on the pro
You're just
circuit,
behind.
you're missing it, because you're going to miss bites. The sensitivity's not there. You're going to get hung up more. It's not. Even some of the guys that were the most reluctant to change, they changed like 10 years ago.
That's right.
So you have to be on tour fishing fluorocarbon. I fished monofilament. Like some years I never throw it. I never throw it.
Same. It's just too many advantages, guys. And look, we're not here to tell you what brand of line to use, but we're here to tell you that you see Sunline on so many of our rods and reels on the Pro Tour. There's a reason why, guys. It's because we absolutely trust it. And you can go online, guys, go to sunline.com, sunlineamerica.com, and you can go through and see charts every single line to see, how they change. Exactly. It's some are more stubble than others. Some are have a little more stretch to it. Some are a little more abrasion resistant to kind of get you what you need. But guys, these are Sunline's best sellers, and that's for a reason. You stick with these 4 models right here, I guarantee you they're all going to have the characteristics of exactly what you need to become better fishermen and put more fish in your boat.
Yeah, other brands have various models, but from my understanding, I don't know of another brand that has their fluorocarbons dialed in like Sunline does. Sunline has them totally dialed in.
Right.
There are other good fluorocarbons on the market, but in my opinion, if you want to know, if you want the best of the best, and you want to be able to be specialized, like we just explained the differences between these 4. These 4 lines right here are what I use on everything in my boat.
That's right.
Everything.
Same. So guys, all fluorocarbon are not created equally. You're going to get what you pay for. If you walk into your tackle shop and you try to find the cheapest fluorocarbon, guys, you're probably going to be a little bit upset. So guys, don't shortchange yourself, especially when it comes to fishing line, because that is the key to getting that is the pivot point between you and getting a fish in the boat, especially one of a lifetime. So guys, I hope this helps. Put any comments you have, any questions into the comments. We'll get back to you. But yeah, Sunline, they have everything you need. So we got some fishing to do. We're here at Lake Pickwick, so we're about to get started tomorrow.
That's right.
So it's time to go get them. Tight lines, dream big. Peace out.